So when you go to Latin America and then you go to the Middle East, this is not a big surprise to you what U.S. foreign policy is. If anything, it's more a confirmation of a lot of things your father was saying.
Well, I would say actually the really seminal moment was moving into the inner city and watching what we do to our poor, the warehousing of our poor, the shattering of lives, especially the lives of children, of poor children. That maybe rattled me more than almost anything I saw, and I've seen horrific things. I remember going back to the chaplain at Colgate after a few months of living in the projects and just walking into his office and sitting down and saying, "Are we created to suffer?" And his answer was, "Is there any love that isn't?" And I think for a white person of relative privilege, to confront the cruelty of what we do to poor people of color in this country and to begin to understand institutional forms of racism, all the mechanisms by which we ensure that the poor remain poor in what Malcolm X and Martin Luther King correctly called these internal colonies, really rattled me, really shook me. It made me question all sorts of things. The myths we tell ourselves about ourselves, the nature of capitalism, the nature of racism, exploitation. Those 2.5 years I spent in Roxbury were quite profound. Not that, of course, I wasn't stunned at the evils of empire in places like El Salvador or Gaza or anywhere else. But Roxbury was quite a shock for me.